Buckle up for Texas adventures on the R&R Does Stuff podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another adventure. This time, our adventure is not as close as before. I got on an airplane and went to see my co-host in Texas.
Yay!
It was
Ryan came down for a nice long weekend. I think you flew in Thursday, and that gave us Friday. It was Friday.
Friday morning early. I got
Friday morning, and then stayed all the way till Monday, leaving in the late afternoon. So
Yeah.
it was a heck of a run, man, and we got a lot done.
Oh yeah, it was. We were doing stuff. We had a little bit of downtime, but we've got a big action-packed adventure here for you all, and it was great times.
It started off really good, and we stayed retro to the core. Everyone, if anyone here watches YouTube and you watch anything around Commodore or maybe even Apple, because of the way he started out, you would probably know about the 8-bit guy.
Right.
And the 8-bit guy lives down here in the Fort Worth area. He and his brother, if I'm not mistaken, started Time Rift Arcade.
And actually, it's one other person too. There's
is
three
it?
of them. Yes.
Oh,
I don't remember the other gentleman's name though, but there are three of them that went together and created this. So for us in the vintage area, you are correct. 8-bit guy and his brother. But I watched a video from the 8-bit guy, and he says, "Oh no, it's actually three of us doing this."
Oh
And
wow.
it wasn't the other guy.
Okay, so I purposely, and so did Ryan. It
Yes.
opened the week before he came down. So it opened was only open 8 days when we went there.
Yeah,
We
something like that.
stayed away from any spoilers. I didn't watch his video. I didn't watch other people's videos. I just wanted to get the experience myself. You've
Yep.
gone back and watched some, it sounds like.
I've watched one since that. It showed up on the 8-bit guy's channel, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that's where I saw it. And he talks about the arcade and going, no, it's not mine. I am one of the three. And that was very interesting. I had no idea that there was another guy involved as well.
Well, it's always good to share risk. That way
Yes.
not one person's on the hook. And I'm sure everybody brings different pictures of the puzzle, whether that be sweat equity, money equity, at time equity, inventory equity. I'm sure there's lots of that mixed in too.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was super happy to go see it. They were super friendly. And we played an awful lot of games.
Dude, we did. I tell you, and I don't know how often they're resetting the high scores, people, but Ryan and I both pulled some number one spots.
We did. It was just fun. It was what I expected an arcade to be, and they hit it out of the park.
I know it was. Some of the things that I think stand out were only one game was down. We went in and I purposely walked all the rows really quick. And I saw one that had some fragmented graphics and realized it was down. Later in the evening, it was completely off with a note. So, so in other words, we walked in while something happened. And while we were there, they actually took care of the problem.
Right. They were doing a great job. Bathrooms super clean. They're really nice, which is a thing that I tend to pay attention to. I saw people going through and wiping down machines throughout the evening. I saw it a couple times. So it's like, people, no one's playing. They're coming through and wiping down the controllers and keeping it clean. And it was really, really well run. The bar staff was great. I know you had a drink. I looked for, I'm weird. I'm looking for caffeine-free diet, which there wasn't a whole lot of. And the guy actually tracked me down afterwards like, oh, we have Sprite. They didn't have Diet Sprite, but they had Sprite because he was just keying up on the caffeine-free. But I really thought it was great that he came out of behind the bar and did that extra effort. To say, this is what we have. And it's like, okay. I mean, I got a bottle of water, which I'm totally fine with.
I'm almost have the same story. When I ordered that crackberry, I had a cider. And I was pointing at the one on the can. And instead of just going, hey, here's your can, he was like, oh, I got it on tap too. and I obviously would much rather have that out of a keg than a can. So that was really good too. Yeah, very, very paying attention to custom service. And I love the wiping of it down. That keeps colds down. That keeps flus down. That keeps all that kind of stuff down. So it's great to see that they have a cleaning program in place. They have a great location. And speaking of in place, there was so much room, Ryan.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I
This
mean,
is actually better than what I expected.
yeah, silver balls. We all know silver balls from going to VCF East and going to that event. You are butt to butt with people. I mean, sometimes you're playing and someone behind you playing and people can't walk between. Not the case here.
No, they did a really good logistical management, getting it all together. And it sounded like talking to, I didn't get a chance to talk to the 8-Bit Guy, unfortunately. I know you did. I ended up talking to his brother a little bit. And they were like, yep, they were looking at the logistics, and they're actually talking about moving a few things around based upon that first week of being open.
Of course, they've been watching egress and traffic patterns. That is too good that they were taking advantage of that. And sure enough, yeah, they were both there. It was Friday night. And so I definitely got to say hi to David Murray and then his brother, and just kind of talked about seeing him on YouTube and the things I liked. And of course, meeting David at other VCF events. But yeah, had moments to chat. Were very nice. I was making some B-roll to make a little video of myself. And he saw me as he was walking, kind of filming. And then I saw him kind of turn and like walk through my scene. So to me, I thought that was really cool because he got to get into the video because he probably thought I was making some B-roll. It kind of looked like I was.
Sure.
And he kind of got himself in there, I think, in a very nice manner to help support my video, because he could have just turned away and not been in my video, but he made the turn to the right and really supported what I was doing. So pretty cool. Oh, and they had consoles, bro. Oh,
they did. Yes. I saw there was a Commodore 64, an Apple II, an older DOS machine, an Atari 2600. What else did I see? There was like 6 of them back there. I think there was a VIC-20 also.
That was pretty neat.
And there was something else by the 2600. I don't remember what it was, though.
Yeah, things you don't see at these retro arcades as much. You might see them at the retro museums that you can play them, but not very often at arcades. So that was kind of neat. They had chairs so you could sit down and enjoy your time there. Very well laid out.
And people were playing them. They were busy. You know, it was a good use of people around, but people were playing those older machines, those older computers. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool.
I guess my final thought on that is we did show up at 8 p.m. and at 8 p.m. is the changing of the guard.
Right.
Young people under 21 have to leave, and it's an only 21 and over crowd. So that was nice too. I love watching kids play games. I love watching kids experiencing new things. But if I'm there just for a retro geek out, having a beer night, I'm kind of okay without the noise and the interruption. I'm old, folks, so I kind of enjoy that adult only time.
I agree. It was because we did see, I think, like 2 families coming out with little kids. Little being, I mean, compared to us.
12, 15, maybe 8, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in that range. And they were enjoying it. I think that's fantastic. And it was at a one price. You bought it, and you get all the games run free play. There were a couple you actually had to hit a coin button and to get the credits into the machine, but you just paid one round. They give you a little armband, a wristband, and you're good to go.
$12, right, for a day?
It was $12.
And then did I see they had a $20 monthly membership?
I think something like that.
And if you're going and you're in that area, definitely check that out, because I remember seeing like per day or a monthly pass, and the monthly pass was like nothing compared to the daily. I mean, it was like, if you're going to come twice, you might as well buy the monthly pass, is what was in my head.
Yes.
I seem to remember, though.
That sounds about right. If the commute was actually closer, I'd be in. But that is like a 1,500-mile commute for me, so ish. Like, not really going to happen, unfortunately.
And it's like 40-something minutes for me, so that kind of, I got closer arcades, but I will go over there again as other people visit. I'll take them out to Time Rift.
I think it's definitely worth going over periodically. I really hope they do well, and it's a place that I would, if I was close to, I would actually go to.
Now, we spent a little bit of time in Fort Worth. Not only did we do that, we came back home, and then another day we drove back to Fort Worth, and we went to
the Fort Worth Zoo.
woohoo!
I know, it's crazy. We've been talking about, zoos in the past. I really enjoy going to zoos. Last year on our trip out there, we went to the Dallas Zoo. This year we went to the Fort Worth Zoo, and that zoo's really nice. They have a nice zoo. I have a membership at the local Smithsonian Zoo here too, and they have reciprocity, so we got discounts on the tickets, and got a lot of walking in. Saw some really cool animals. Me and my favorites are in the range of the elephants for sure. They're my tier one. I really enjoyed seeing the penguins too. They were kind of chill though. I think they were molting, so they weren't really going in the water. But there was a lot of different animals that we saw, and I really like the Old West area set up on the one side of the zoo. There's a little food court area, and there's like an old Western themed and cowboy up on top of the second floor, and all that. That was actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, they do a great job. I know Fort Worth is known for the stockyards, which is very cattle driven, along those lines.
Okay.
So I think they were tying into that same theme of the West. And
Yep.
it's a great place for families. Obviously it's a zoo. But as adults, I know the fiance joined us, and we just had a great time walking and reviewing. And boy, those otters, they stole the show for me. Those
Yes.
cute guys, because you could see them from the side, and they
Yep.
seem to love flying right in front of you along the water.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to really enjoy that.
Yeah, they're great. Here in DC, they have two different types of otters. They have river otters and some like an Asian one, and they're always doing stuff like that as well. I do really enjoy the otters. They're just fun. They're cute. They can be mean, but we're not interacting with them in that aspect. But they do like swimming around.
And then the giraffe show, they have there that you can buy for like $6. You can get some leaves, and then
Right.
the giraffes well, hell, they'll take free food. So
Yeah,
they come right up to the edge and take the food from you.
Yeah, it's pretty neat how they have that laid out. You buy the food, and there's this whole area surrounding the one side of the giraffes. Where if the giraffe's hungry, he just walk up to it, and you get to feed him. If he's not hungry, he won't. Or if he's like done, he just wanders off. It was really kind of cool.
There's prey and predator animals, right? And
Mhm.
predators see ahead, and prey see to the side. And so I would watch the giraffe sometimes back away from the fence and look like they were turning to leave. No, they were turning to figure out where the next leaf was.
Right. Yeah, they were really cool. They were pretty friendly. They don't like being petted, so that was had to be reinforced to a couple people.
I saw that. I saw someone trying to get pets in.
Yeah, the giraffes don't like that, from what the keeper said, and I've seen one wander off. Then they were just like, "Nope, I'm done with you," and then they just wander away from the edge, and they have that freedom to do that, so that's pretty cool. But
Yeah,
the
they're not-
zookeepers were really getting on people, which they should. It's like,
They
dude,
yelled at me because I was standing at the edge without food, blocking a spot because I was
Right.
getting a good view. They were like, "If you don't have food, please back away." And so
Yeah.
I did. But that just means they're looking out for the animals. They're looking out for everybody
Mm-hmm.
having a good time. And that's just important. Just like we were watching the elephants, their observation deck for these areas is made incredibly well. You get
Yes.
a great view.
Yeah, in the Dallas Zoo, from an elephant perspective, they had two babies. So one's like 2 years old, and one's in the 3-year-old range of the baby elephants. That's really cool. Just seeing them, what's going on, bumbling around a little bit, and trying to figure it out. Because they start to figure out how to use their trunk around year 3. So they're just trying to figure out how to make that trunk work and do what they want it to.
Oh, yeah. We saw that young bull playing with that huge tree trunk. And when I
Yes.
say tree trunk, folks, I'm talking, it's as big as, I'm 6 foot, it's as big as I am and wider. It's a big tree trunk, and he's just kind of trying to finagle it with his trunk and pick it up and move it. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, I think he said, didn't he say that he weighed like 800 pounds now or something like that?
Some ungodly number, dude. Some
Oh, yeah.
crazy number for a baby elephant.
Correct.
or a young elephant.
Yeah, it was great. So the zoo was a great time. That's always on my list of things to do. Uh, Definitely would love going back there again sometime in a future trip. I don't know. I just like seeing the critters.
We got very lucky too. There was on and off rain that weekend. And Ryan was like, dude, let's just go for it on the first. It was on Saturday. Let's go in on our first real day, just in case we had a couple backup days. And I'm really glad he did, because I don't think we ever had weather that good the rest of the weekend.
No, it did. It definitely wasn't. That was the right play, because it was like a light rain in the morning. And by the time we got over there, it had quit. We had like 3 hours left at the zoo by the time we got there, so we went a little later. They closed at 4. We got there around 1, which is fine. And it just worked out. It's like, oh, it quit raining. It was nice. It was a little overcast, but that's fine. And it was just a great day. It was a good walk around.
Well, you know, that was a first, even though it's a second zoo we did. But we did go back to National Video Game Museum of Frisco, and we visited for our second time.
I really enjoy that place. I'd go there every time. It's also pretty cheap to get into.
Yeah. For
the day, they got some games. It's an interactive museum. Not everything you can interact with, but a lot of stuff you can interact with. You can play with things.
Whoa, Ryan. Not only can you play with things, you can diagnose things. I lost Ryan for, I swear, 20 to 30 minutes. We're walking through the hallway of home computers. So there's a VIC, a C64, there's an A500, there's an Apple, blah, 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 TI, all the regulars, right? Ryan goes over to the Amiga 500, folks. And dear listener, I kid you not, he realizes it's just not set up. It's not like all the other ones, playing a game, being interacted with. So he starts going, oh, look, they have a little floppy emulator over here. And oh, look, I can type in code and I can check it. And next thing you know, I'm watching him and said, I'm going to go check out other things. I did find a really cool thing during our time. But what were you doing for like 20, 30 minutes on the A500?
Well, the A500 was showing it had the Kickstart disk up, so it has the Kickstart in a ROM inside the computer, but it's not doing anything. So it needs a disk to load, then, like a game, in their case, a game to actually come up so you can actually interact with the thing. So I was trying to go down through and figure out, well, what games are on this, and get something to actually run. Like all the other ones are being used, this thing's just sitting there, and I don't know. I can't have an Amiga not being used if it's functional.
Damn tootin' you can't.
That's a problem. More on that later. But I was just like going down through, and I'm like, I'm like, okay, what else is on this flash drive? They weren't using a GoTech. They were using some predecessor to it. And of course, I had to go look up how that worked, because I'd never used that, and see what was on the flash disk. And I finally got the pinball game to show up. Unfortunately, it was across 2 discs, so I'm betting the next day it's not going to boot, because it'll be on the second disc in the drive. But I got doing something, and that was important. And then I played a couple games of I think it was Pinball Dreams.
Well, I think it looked really good, and it was a good way to leave it, and I'm glad you did that, so people just didn't wonder, why does this Amiga 500 have a disc and a finger on it? I mean, because that's all that was up.
Right.
While he was gone, I did find they had a Doom exhibit on an SNES, I believe it was, and I was playing it. It wasn't an SNES. Anyway, it was on something. Dude, the WAD was the building. So someone had built the National Video Game floor plan as a WAD.
That's pretty cool. Did you go around shooting people inside of it then?
You know, somehow there were no monsters. I don't know what. Maybe they made it to where it didn't have monsters. I don't know. But I walked around. I found all the rooms, and then I even found the doors you're not allowed to go in opened on the WAD. So I got to see the repair area. I got to see where they record video casts or podcasts. And I saw the offices that were back there. So that was neat that they had a WAD there that you could explore. New experience. I'd never seen that before. They do change exhibits up. I think this year there was a lot of Pokemon in one of the exhibits.
Yeah, there was.
So we did have maybe 2 or 3 new things to see this time. And they have an arcade.
They definitely have an arcade. That was good. They do have a scavenger hunt in there too, kind of like a
Oh
Easter egg hunt.
yeah, we couldn't figure it out.
No, it's some issues, and I guess because there's a website you can go to. There's a QR code to scan to start it. You can do things there. You go to this website on your phone and like click on things. And some of them I found out later by clicking on enough things and reloading it that it's like, oh, they have their initials, NVGM, in hidden in one of the blue lights somewhere in one of the displays. So it was like really esoteric things,
Oh,
and we didn't know what we were doing. And then we tried to look for a couple, and we're like, yeah, we failed.
next
And
year.
wondered, oh, maybe next year, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of scavenger hunts, well, one, Ryan talked about the price being pretty good. I think at this point, everything was about $12 to get in. With
It
your
seems like
discount at the Fort Worth Zoo, I think it was $10 to get in.
It was.
I believe Nevada, the video game museum's 12. And then scavenger hunts, we went and did another one. And this place was also $12 to get in.
Yeah, it was super cheap. It was a great time. I went in. It was the Traintopia.
You got it.
Thinking
That's the
of-
name, Traintopia. It's right near the National Video Game Museum in that same area of Frisco.
Yeah, it's like a door down in the same building. And it was gonna be a train model. Didn't really know what to expect, and it was huge. It was really cool. They had day and night going on in there, so it would get dusk and get a little darker, and the sun would come back up based upon the overhead lights, and then things in the layout would change based on that. Like at night, the headlights, a lot of the cars came on,
Yeah.
like the cars in the city, and it was just like, oh wow. So that was actually really, really cool. I did like the projector, even though it did bother you a little bit. They have a little movie theater going on there that was off center. And Rich and his AVs, like, I want to take it apart and fix it so it lines up right on the screen.
The projector throw was off. They were throwing too big of an image onto a smaller screen. So I really wanted to fix that throw. But it is what it is. And it was beautiful. It was really neat. We did get, when we first walked in, they had a scavenger hunt card because what was it, like 30 items. You would grab
Something
a
like that.
scavenger hunt card and you would look for those 30 items. And it was a beautiful concept because it got you looking at every little detail.
You even set me up for that transition, and I failed it. Sorry.
No, what Oh, yeah. Heard, now you catched on earlier. Scavenger transition. Yeah. See, we don't have it all planned, listener. We do this off the cuff. When we went to Traintopia, we were 2 of 4 people in there, and one of the workers came out, and she was a very nice lady, and she told us the story of Traintopia because really their initial thing were large trains, not large model trains. We're talking their initial thing was trains. And so they got a phone call from this wealthy lady whose husband had died and said, you need to come see his train collection. And she said that they were like, oh yeah, everybody calls us. We do big trains. And then the lady said, I'm not going to let you get off the phone with me until you promise to come see it.
Right. And it's, I know she talked a little more about it they're like, okay, fine. They went out and they're going to an elevator up to the second floor of this guy's garage where this train layout was. And they're like, oh, okay.
Rich.
This train layout was huge. It's awesome. I highly recommend it if you're in the area. Go see it. Go explore it. I don't want to spoil too much, but the scavenger hunt was awesome. What's one of the coolest things you saw in the scavenger hunt?
I think the coolest thing on the scavenger hunt for me now maybe was even off scavenger hunt. While we were doing the scavenger hunt on the list, I think what was the neatest was looking for the details of like a wheelbarrow with bricks in it, or a silver trash can. Things that were innocuous, but were definitely inputted into scenes with a purpose. That was neat to see. The thing that was off the scavenger hunt list was the thing you found that I thought was really cute.
Oh, which one? Was it the alien?
The alien! You found the alien ship. Well, it was in the New Mexico scene, and it was hidden up in the mountains. It's not even on the scavenger cards, the lady told me. It's just one that's there that he had put in. and it's kind of off center, kind of behind something. And Ryan goes, "Oh, look, a UFO!" And I died laughing. I thought that was perfect.
It was great.
What piece? And by the way, everyone, we nailed our scavenger hunt card. The one thing that we didn't know, we thought we knew. And so we went and checked and we were right. So we thought we were wrong. And then we found out we were right the one time we thought we were wrong.
Yep. And that was, it was hard to find. I was like, is that who this guy is?
Yes.
I don't know. I did like the alien watching the movie at the movie theater though.
Oh, that was cute. Yes. The alien was at the movie theater, a little stand-up guy.
He was pretty good. And there's two other things I really liked. The Scooby-Doo van was incorporated in the city, along with the DeLorean and Doc Brown.
Oh, that was cool. I thought you were going to go for what wasn't on the scavenger list. They had hidden Peanuts characters and Walt Disney early characters just throughout the map. They weren't on a scavenger hunt. You would just be watching a train go by, and there would be Snoopy in it.
Right. That was really cool, too. So there's a lot going on there. That's only a little bit. And there's multiple scavenger hunts. We had one of 5 different scavenger hunts. Yeah. So there were three big ones, a school one, and I think a smaller kids one. So that was huge.
And we're going back. We're going to go back. We're going to go back because the big trains were not open for viewing while we were there. So next time Ryan is planning a trip, if he comes down, we're going to coordinate it with buying tickets to go walk through their big trains. Because, dude, how many would you say they had back there? Like, we went and drove around it because it was all fenced in, but how many would you say were back there?
At least 4 steam engines that I saw at the quick drive-by, several diesels. I know there was a Pennsylvania Railroad. I think it was a GG1, which is a big one. The only reason, we had a family friend that really liked that train. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so that was kind of a thing.
Oh.
So there were so many other cars back there too.
Oh,
passenger cars, tons of stuff. It was just being able to look at them from the outside on the street, which you could walk down the sidewalk by them, but it was starting to sprinkle a little bit at that time. Highly recommend. That was a great place. That was awesome.
And one of the nights we wrapped up after that, I think that was the same night we wrapped up for the comedy club. Is that the same night as the comedy club?
I think so. We left there because they closed early-ish, but then we went heading back to your house and chilled out for a little bit, did some things, and then we went to dinner and the comedy club.
That's right. We did the magic mushroom, or what was it? The
mellow mushroom.
Mellow mushroom, great pizza. I had a calzone this time that was phenomenal, and a big old salad. Trying to eat a little better. It was but yeah, it was downtown McKinney, so there's a bunch of cool things to do there. And we did this one other time. Maybe it was on one of your visits.
Yes, it was
the arena. We probably have talked about it. It's just fun.
Yeah, it was
30 people max could sit in there. Max.
Yeah, it was really cool. I would say it's. I think I did a count. There were like 23 people in there, including us. It was a really small venue, but it was a good time.
Yeah. Have a couple drinks, have some laughs. It's a nice place. They have alternative alcohol options. They have alcohol options. They have everything you could want in between. Yeah. Great staff, great fun on stage. They always have kind of like someone who I think is part of learning comedy, the intro. And then they have another, act before the main act, and then they have the main act. So we usually get 3 comedians, and again, I think $25, dude. It's not a ripoff. It's a very good evening for $25.
Yeah, it was a great time. I'm glad you picked up those tickets and said, "Hey, let's go do this." And I'm like, "Yep, that was the right answer." I really wish we had something like that close to me.
Yeah, so easy to do, especially when people are in town and they like to laugh. Which I think most of us enjoy laughing. So
I hope so.
I know. But we did do things at home too. We did relax and we totally just chilled out. It's one of those that I look at the visits. It's always nice to run around and see new things, but it's also really cool just to kick back and play some games. You know what I mean?
Right.
Enjoy that time.
Definitely. I know we got a little game, some barbecue and game playing at your place.
Oh yeah, and we will be raiding barbecue joints again here shortly, folks.
Yes.
But yes, we did have barbecue. We went and picked it up, brought it back to the house. The kids came over, so Rob was
Yes.
here and Cassidy,
That
and
was awesome.
everyone. We just sat down and played some games.
Yes, it was a good time. We played a little bit of the D&D board game, which is a co-op. You know, Rich kind of set us up a little bit. He said, "Oh, we're gonna do this one and like put together this Black Dragon." And we're like, wait a minute, is this the last adventure?
We played Temple of Elemental Evil, the Dungeons and Dragons board game. And maybe that's a little retro because we're playing D&D. Well, it's 5th edition rules, so that's not really that retro. But anyways, I've always wanted to play with the mini with the Black Dragon. And it's the last adventure. So I said, well, we're going to do that one. And I set us up. We all got a little nervous. We added, you're supposed to start with 2 healing potions that basically bring a dead player back to half. And if you use both healing potions, the moment you need a third, you lose the game.
Correct.
And we decided to go ahead and add in 2 more since we hadn't been playing the campaign. We didn't have all the things we were supposed to. Probably people hold for treasure items. We hadn't had time to buy things to help us win the game. So we added those 2. And it turns out.
And we leveled up.
Yeah, and we leveled to level 2. That's right. We just started level 2. And it turns out we maybe didn't need the extra 2. We barely won if you would have gone by the rules of only 2 healing surges.
Yes.
We've used them both. And were we one round away from dying again?
I think so.
Yeah. I think maybe 2 people were one round away from dying to where we cleared that board in a nick of time. And you guys play a lot of the D&D board game online. Have you ever gone through any of the Temple of Elemental Evil in the past?
There is only one online. It's an older one on Steam, and it's Tomb of Annihilation, I believe. So that's the only one that's actually on that they did online. I'm betting it didn't sell well because they haven't updated it in like 3 or 4 years. That tells me it didn't sell well, and they never made another one, even though the game's actually pretty good. It's decent. It's good with 2. 3 stuff starts lagging a little bit.
That does make sense. I would like to try that online. I bet it
or at
plays
least
really
with
good too.
the 3 of us when we were trying it. 2 is fine. It's that 3rd one, so I don't know if someone's link is slower than what it wants or how that works out. Well, the next time you play and you're doing 4, let me know. That did take us a while to wrap up. You know, everybody had to kind of learn the rules again. Luckily, Ryan was there to help keep us on track. We checked a few rules in the book. I think we home ruled one thing. But we had a really good time. We had food. We all chatted. We had a few drinks. Yes, we did. And I also thought it was funny
a really nice evening.
Even
though the kids wrapped up after that, you and I
we're like, let's go play some more games. And your kids are actually being responsible and going, no, we can get up at 6:30. We're going to bed. And it's like, wait, what? We would have made poor life choices in younger years and probably still played. Yep.
I know Cassidy has to be on site very early in the morning with her job. And Rob also had to start his day off early. So they bailed. And so we packed up and we played one more game, which, dude, tell them about this most
This could be a cliffhanger moment after the kiddos.
Oh! Is this a cliffhanger moment, Ryan? Oh, we're getting back. We are getting back into the world of retro computing with this next game. So I think this is a perfect spot to tell everyone, come back. come back. We're going to talk about this computer game or this retro computer type game we played. We're going to chat about our food recommendations throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We also have retro computing. We also have retro driving to talk about.
We'll be back.
Hang tight, everyone. Wait for next 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1, 2, 3 weeks, somewhere like there. Wait for the next drop. And we'll do it again. We will be part two, and we will be back.
I love it.
Or
see you next time.
Zwei. I don't know how to say part in German. I know zwei is two, but I don't know. Anyways, thanks everyone for hanging out. Come back next time and hear us finish. Bye.